Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com. I'm on Greece today. I've got 4 Greek wines, 3 white, 1 red, and 2 different wineries. The first one from Santorini. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to Santorini. It's a stunningly beautiful place. I think it's part of an old volcano, so there's lots of this lava around. And yes, there are vineyards there. It's in the middle of the. I think it's. I've got a couple of islands here. One's I think one set's from Paros. This is one of the bit further south, Santorini, and but the funny thing is where they grow where they have the vineyards, it's really very windy. So when you look at the vineyards, instead of like having these lovely trellised rows of vines, what they do is they have like little. They're almost like little bushes, and you go and you have a look at them, and there's all this foliage on the outside, and inside are these grapes sheltered from the wind. And the main grape here is one called Hatzidakis, and it's a grape that I think there's probably a few wineries around the world outside Greece where you'll find it, but Greece is certainly its main hangout. Although you go to southern Italy, quite similar climate, and you find wines there called Greco. Must have come from Greece at some point. And Hatzidakis reminds me sometimes of things like those southern grapes like Greco, Falangina, Fiano, that sort of thing. But as a grape, I suppose to compare it with more familiar varieties, Hatzidakis for me has a bit of the pithiness of Semillon, some of that punchy crispness of Sauvignon, and some of the aromatic, minerally edges of Riesling. Let's see if this one does. Well, I stick my nose in and I get limes, lemons, I get that citrus edge, and it's on that pithy Semillon style as well, like the pith of the lemon rather than the juice. It's a really nice combination of richness and crispness. Quite weighty wine, but then when you think it's just going to be a bit too fat, that fresh acidity is there to clean your mouth out. Very tasty, that. Okay, next one down. Also got some Hatzidakis in. Sillogi, and it's from the Moraitis winery in Paros. So here we are now, and this is Hatzidakis mixed with another grape, Malagousia. It's a year older. Is that too old? Well, let's have a see. Well, it's got some of those same. Those same citrusy, crisp edges that were in the Santorini. Feels like it's going to be a bit weightier wine. The Malagousia is a bit of a rounder, flabbier, not flabbier, but just like more corpulent grape variety. So it should have a bit more flesh. It's okay. What I find it's lacking compared with the one from Santorini. It doesn't have that. It's okay to start with. You get that citrus edge, that pithy edge, but maybe it's the age. The pithiness is going into slightly just too bitter, and then there's not really enough to carry the flavours through, and I'm left with something that's a bit flabby and bitter. So okay rather than fine. Certainly the Hatzidakis is a step up. Well, let's get back to Hatzidakis. This is his 2007 Nykteri Reserve, and I think the idea here is later picking of Hatzidakis, and I think it's had about a year in oak. So it should be a fleshier, smokier wine. Does a grape like Hatzidakis stand up to that treatment? Well, let's give it a whirl. Well, it's you can that late picked character is coming through instead of those crisper citrus and apple edges that were on the Santorini. Here you're getting more peach, melon, fleshy pineapple chunk type of flavours, and the oak is there, but it's almost like this resiny style of oak, not resiny like Retsina, but just adding this like oily resin character. Not sure whether it's going to be better. It's going to be more concentrated, but I do like the freshness of the first Hatzidakis. It's rich, very rich, coats your mouth. For me, it's one of those exercises in what is possible. I'm going to have another swig of that just to... What is possible rather than what is desirable. For me, a Certico should be about freshness. And here, I don't know, maybe you could, there's almost an argument for doing this as a late pick and leaving sweetness in the wine. I've got a video that I'll be doing at some point in the next couple of days where I have got a sweet wine from Hatzidakis, so it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. But here, yes, I almost want a little bit of sweetness to balance that edge of oak, that slight bit of bitterness, that pithy edge from the extra richness. So, good, interesting, but I think that the basic one does its job far better. Final one is a red from back to the Moraitis winery in Paros. I'll just give my glass a quick rinse, pour it into Tweety pie I'm on today. Hey, sorry Tweety, hope you don't mind me gobbing in you. And this is the red. And the red is made, I think it's got some Cabernet Sauvignon in there, but another grape in there. I think it's Idani. Hard to tell, it's in Greek. I think it's Idani. Well, stick my nose in, and earthy cherry is what I get. And now, earthy cherry is a phrase that I use for wines like Dolcetto. Here, it feels like it's a slightly more cooked cherry, slightly, yeah, certainly very ripe cherry. When cherries have just started to go that little bit brown and they've nearly gone rotten. It feels like it's going to be quite structured. I don't know. It feels like the winemaking, the élevage has not been as good as it could be. It feels like there was some quite nice fruit here that has maybe been slightly, yeah, not treated as well as it could be. Yeah, more cherries. It's okay. Yeah, it's got quite a refreshing, slight bitterness to the end, like kirsch. Maybe a bit of raspberry and strawberry in there with the cherries. But I'm left with this drying sensation, yeah, it feels like the tannins need to have somebody who's need to have a little bit of TLC. It feels like it's been slightly roughly handled. So, interesting quartet of wines. My favourite is the basic Hatzidakis. But I enjoyed that red a bit more than I thought I was going to. I'm sure I've had some of these guys' wine before, and this for me was a step up from where they were before. Not sure about the Nykteri. See you soon, and maybe we'll do the Vinsanto from Greece next time.